Hello, people of the world watching car reviews on the internet. Welcome to this, the 2025 Chevrolet Blazer RS EV, which is a vehicle from an American car company that partnered with a Japanese car company, got its battery tech from South Korea, and assembled the entire thing in Mexico. So today, I'm going to get this assorted pile of robot bits from around the world up in the air. We're going to nerd out in the tech specs, see how it is constructed, and then go give it the beans. Okay, let's take a look under our row. Well, as far as exhaust tips go, that's EV exhaust tip. So basically, if you want a louder exhaust, just go to a car audio store and get a beefier speaker and amplifier. You can make it sound like a angry hunter-killer choir. Now, while this does not have a tow hitch on it, it's technically capable of towing 1,500 pounds. How do I open these? Oh, I slide. I think I slide. The electric slide. that was good. So I think, yeah, if I lift that, oh, that's sick. Lift, slide. That's awesome. Whoever at Chevrolet, Cadillac, Honda, Acura, Samsung came up with the idea for those access doors, brilliant. Out back, the Blazer EV has a partially steel in construction 5-link multi-link rear suspension configuration with aluminium knuckles and upper links, which you can see above the drive shaft here. The rear dampers are a proprietary house blend. The rear anti-sway bar, which is mounted to the front of the rear subframe, measures in at approximately, smaller than I thought it would be, about 19.5 millimeter in diameter. Moving on up, more plastic paneling, and then what? Got caulking all over it. Housed in the center of the steel rear subframe is the rear propulsion unit because this is the optional all-wheel drive model. That rear propulsion unit is manufactured by Hasco Magna in China. The 2025 Blazer EV is built on GM's BEV3 platform, and this all-wheel drive RS model weighs in at 5,236 pounds. The battery pack itself is an Ultium 85 kilowatt hour comprised of nickel, magnesium, cobalt, and aluminium. As far as the transmissions go, what's weird about these Blazer EVs is you can have them either front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, or all-wheel drive with varying configurations of different motors to make up the different models. It's like an a la carte menu with this thing. Anyway, this all-wheel drive one has 2 integrated reduction gear single-speed transmissions incorporated into the front and rear drive modules. Up front, the Blazer EV utilizes an all-aluminum in construction 5-link multi-link configuration with aluminium knuckles. Note massive ball joints here on the bottom. The front strut connected directly to the center link via this fork. Steering-wise, this does have a continuously variable electric power steering rack with an 18.46:1 ratio, as well as a 39.7-foot turning radius. Up front, there is another speaker behind this little grille. Just all plastic underbody other than the battery. That's neat. It looks like the front license plate area on a Corvette, kind of. All right, time for the braking test. No one or nothing behind me. Ready, set, go. Whoa! What? I don't think I've ever had a vehicle that was that loud on the braking. It shifted and shimmied and squirmed and fighted to come to a stop. There was definitely little micro elements of lockup in between the ABS was doing what it was supposed to do, but man, I would say good job on the brakes because this is a lot of mass to come to a stop. Good job on the tires also. The stopping distance is respectable for the weight of the vehicle too. That braking was just made possible thanks to a set of 2-piston front calipers with a 12.6 or 321 millimeter front rotor. The wheel and tire is a 21 by 9.5 with a positive 40 millimeter offset die-cast alloy manufactured in China, wrapped in a set of 275/45 Bridgestone Lenza All Seasons. It's a 700 treadwear tire on top of that. That's wild. Oh, it's a special blend for EVs. This thing is a 6-lug. That's how you know it's a heavy vehicle. And these little flower petals in the center of the spoke, it's a removable piece. I think it's a super hard plastic. Inner fender liners, carpeted. Oh, take note. Dual ball joints up here on the top, and ride height, about a fist width. This thing will look good slammed. Front bumper vents are highly functional aero. Behind the bumper grille, there are some active aero shutters in front of the AC condenser and heat exchangers. In case you forget where the front of your vehicle is, there's some directions. What in the robot scaffolding is going on with this pinch weld area? Out back, you go down to a single piston caliper, but up to a 13.6-inch rotor, or 345 millimeter. The wheel and tire, same size as you have up front. In the name of science, I am now going to give it the beans. But first, I must assess the bolstering. Whoa. There's literally zero bolstering to this seat. Like, at all. The seats are embroidered with the RS logo, suede. I will give them credit that Alcantara does look and feel nice with the leather on the sides. The seats are both heated as well as ventilated, as well as the steering wheel is heated with the RS badge at the bottom. It's flat bottom and leather. I mean, they're soft. The butt cushion is a little stiff. It has a 1-pedal drive mode. Tap on the little arrow, select this, and you can adjust the amount of recuperation up here. As far as drive modes go, you have to go into the TV screen on the dashboard. This thing is huge, and it has a power button on the top like an actual TV or computer monitor. Tap on the infotainment screen where it says drive mode, and you can go from normal to sport, snow and ice. It's like if Informer had a little bit of vanilla flavor added to it as a... Never mind. In my mode. Within my mode, you can tap on the little pencil and adjust your steering, brake feel, acceleration feel, motor sound, and that back to my mode. I wish the sound was on the outside of the vehicle though. More EVs need outside propulsion noises. As far as traction control goes, you tap these little Nintendo Switch looking logos, which will defeat traction control. All right, let's see what this thing can do. Give it a little assistance and let it eat. Ready? Go. Kind of a launch? Spaceship noises. It's a little less drama than I was hoping for. It's a little bit quick. It's not fast. I guess you need the SS for that. Good pop. Are you a double popper? Underneath the chassis belt equipped hood of this 2025 Chevrolet Blazer RS EV is one of 2 electric motors. Out back, you already got a glimpse of that asynchronous motor, which produces 62 kilowatts or 83 horsepower. And up front, you have a much larger permanent magnet synchronous electric motor producing 241 horsepower or 180 kilowatts, giving you a total combined system output of 300 horsepower and 335 pound-feet of torque. And I know that math doesn't add up exactly, but robots do things differently than us humans. The first thing you notice when you pop the hood on this thing is the inverter on top of the electric motor almost looks like a valve cover on like a huge diesel or something. It looks like it's longitudinal mounted, but it's not. And dropping down in front of the electric motor, there's a ton of space right here for maintenance. You can also see that front electric motor's motor mount, and then down below underneath everything, you can see the steering rack. To the right of the brake master cylinder, if you dive underneath the wiper cowl into this massive cavernous area, you can see part of the ABS system underneath there. That would not be fun to have to access anything inside there to work on. A traditional AC Delco 12-volt battery for the accessories, and a coolant expansion chamber for the motor cooling system. I will admit a massive benefit of an EV drivetrain setup is it allows you to move the top of the strut towers further inboard, which increases handling capabilities. Hey, at least it does have hood struts. Even though this does share the same platform with the Honda Prologue and the Acura ZDX, I saw 0 signs of anything Honda Acura on this whatsoever. Everything is branded GM or AC Delco. I don't know, weird. and beans, engage. It has a really good torque shove right off the line, especially when you're already rolling. It makes it feel like this is gonna be a lot faster than it actually is. But then once you're already rolling, it just kind of starts to fall off. Like it has a small turbo that just makes a ton of boost down low and then just, oh yeah, yep, you notice the weight. I mean, these wide wheels do help. This is like, it feels like HD truck level of weight. This is a heavy feeling EV. And at 5,500 pounds and change, 300 horsepower and a little over 300 pound-feet of torque, it has to shuffle around a lot. So yeah, you have all that torque instantaneously, and that's why you get that good off-the-line shove. It shimmies around. The weight actually adds to its playful nature handling-wise. I think it is because it's got a nice wide wheel on here. And the suspension it's adequate too. You can feel when it compresses though. You can feel the mass of the vehicle. Punch it mid-roll. A little bit of spaceship noises. I wish they had more of that. That's like the best part about EVs is the weird spaceship noises. Make them more spaceshipy. Don't make them sound like an internal combustion engine. Make them sound like a Jetsons mobile. Yeah, this thing it shimmies and dances a little bit because of its weight. It makes this thing playful. I know the RS badge is kind of a hot button topic for people that grew up during the muscle car era, but this thing does have a little bit of spice to it. It's like watching a hippo breakdance. This has character, which it's tough to do with EVs. I've only reviewed maybe one or two EVs that I feel have a lot of character. One of them was a Chevy. The Bolt EUV had character to it because it just always wanted to burn the tires off. This has character. GM does a great job at putting character and likability into their vehicles. That is probably their strong suit right now, is making something that in one way or another makes you smile. And in this instance, it's not making you smile because it's amazing. It's making me smile just because it's a heavy vehicle that is bumbling along and has got torque. And it's a little shifty when you shuffle the wheel back and forth like a dog with a big ass trying to wag its tail. If I had to compare this against the Ioniq 5N, the N by far has more character and charm and was more fun. But this isn't direct competition for that. This would be the regular Ioniq 5. And it's just a styling battle at that point between the two vehicles. I know there's a lot of you that watch my channel for my project car builds that are not fans of EVs. And I will say to the people that don't like EVs, driving this thing is not soul-sucking. It doesn't feel like a complete appliance. Like a lot of EVs out there do kind of have that appliance-y factor, other than the only fun bit is the instant torque that you get from them. So if I shimmy the steering wheel in this thing, you can still feel it in the steering column after that mass transferring back and forth. That is wild. You can at least smile while you're driving it, doing this on the steering wheel. That makes you feel like you got the bed spins. I don't know if that's a good thing to correlate it to. Opens the hatch. These are the size of approved carry-ons. That is the storage capacity of the Blazer EV. You're welcome, journalism. Look at this little chode of a rear wiper. It's so tiny. As far as the back seat goes, I got decent headroom. Kind of a little tight off to the side by the Oshiza handle. As you can clearly see by my hot dogs depicting legs, plenty of leg room. It's like a pig robot. Rear seats are both heated, dual USB-Cs. It's got the little ISOFIX sandwich flaps, map pocket. Nice materials back here also. Feels pretty rugged too. Like it could survive a baby trying to rip it off. I don't know if your babies get crazy in the back seat. I don't know what people's kids do. Oh, it does recline. Oh, it's got the little Diglet thumb popper door lock things. Nice materials on the door card, just like the front. Also leather. Vent looks like a watermelon and a jet engine had a baby. Are you a slot or a Oshit handle? Both? These are kind of neat. Remind me of a Trans Am a little bit. Wireless phone charge cubby, as well as a deep cavernous slot where you can store about 2 large smartphones. And this little garage door hides, well, that's deep. Jeez, what could you store in there and charge? Inside this, another massively deep cavernous pocket. A little rattly. Zippy material, some holographic patterned plastic, 2 different grains of red leather that are stitched. It's nice to see that you do have the option to get a slick top if you want. I have to stop listening to such bangers when I'm trying to assess the sound system because it's just gonna make it sound that much better, but the sound system in here does sound great. To turn the vehicle off, I found this extremely strange. You have to tap on that little truck icon and then go to vehicle off. And then to start the vehicle, you just simply tap your foot on the brake. Ah! That just happened. The infotainment system menu itself is pretty idiot-proof. It's kind of like a smartphone display, a bunch of icons. It does have ambient lighting with a ton of different colors you can choose from, except there really isn't much ambient lighting. It's pretty much just your vents and a little bit underneath the dash. The cameras on here are super high def, but maybe that's black? Can you adjust the color? No, doesn't look like it. Wait a minute, you're a GM. Do you have it? It does. It's got the video camera based rear view mirror. Man, that's pretty good for the price of this. The drive selector is a stalk on the steering column that, to prevent you from accidentally bumping it, you have to pull it towards you and then you can move it to change reverse neutral drive. The mirrors are heated, as well as they have an icon of a giant starfish attacking a car. The Blazer EV is like the Impossible Burger of vehicles. It might look like it's made of cow, but it's comprised of ingredients from everything other than cow. What I mean by that is, obviously this is the same platform as a Honda and an Acura and a Cadillac. And I think there's something else too, another Chevy. But they didn't make the motors to this. They sourced them to someone else. So a company that is iconic for making great engines doesn't do that for their EV. But also, they're a legacy car brand that's been around for like 100 years, and all they know is internal combustion engines. So at what point is an auto manufacturer even relevant anymore? Is it just a name and a badge on the piece of equipment you're operating? It does its job as an EV well. It has usable range. One of my biggest critiques with most EVs, and a lot of people have the same feeling, I would say if you're gonna get the RS, definitely go for the rear wheel drive because A, it has a beefy motor out back, which will make it more fun. And also it has like an extra 50 miles of range than the all-wheel drive. Although this thing, a little over 280 miles of range, is reasonable. There are internal combustion engines vehicles that don't even have that much gasoline range. What I thought was really neat is that the headlights and taillights will actually show you the rate of charge as a percentage of how much of it is illuminated. Currently right now the vehicle is charged at about 88%, so 88% of the headlight and taillight is illuminated. There isn't an electric vehicle from far back in the past from Chevy that I could really compare value against, but while this thing does have flaws and weird things about it that kind of irritate me, the infotainment system took a while for me to figure out that there was a power button on the top of it. That's maybe a lack of my own intelligence and vision capabilities. Also, the lack of a physical button for start and stop to turn the vehicle on and off is just kind of strange. I guess it's to get you into the habit of just being able to get in and out of the vehicle, not think about keys perhaps as much. But overall, it still does have that flavor of beef to it that tastes like Chevy under the right tongue. Like, I don't know. It is now time to give this Blazer EV some scores. Starting with the bean score, the assessment of the feeling you get in your gut when you give it the beans. And it earns a rating of... Next is the cookie score, the assessment of value. And as this one is equipped with like 1 or 2 options and a destination charge, bringing it to the mid-50s, it gets a rating of, followed by the wrench score, the assessment of ease of maintenance, and it gets a rating of, and then the squid score, the assessment of handling, and it gets a rating of, and lastly is the penguin score, the assessment on how much I personally like a vehicle, and the Blazer RS EV gets a rating of, this thing just beeped at me. I'm gonna say this because I know there's a ton of you screaming in all caps lock right now, angry that they named this the Chevy Blazer, because we all know what that stood for in the past, and this is so far from that original recipe. But we have the Tahoe today, which is now what the Blazer used to be. And I feel that some marketing teams at car manufacturers should be careful reviving old nameplates and maybe just leave them to rest as an icon from the past if what they're bringing back does not match that vehicle. And it's nothing against this. I'm sure a lot of people worked really hard on this vehicle and someone was proud of bringing back the Blazer name, but I'm just saying a lot of people disagree with it, and I'm sure there was other great names that they could have came up with for this. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this review. I'll see you soon with another. Bye.